that's it. We just want to win for our team.
My goodness! And everyone finishes it!
Yeah, we're just as good as the men, or better.
It's a huge point for the Bay Area.
Good chance that's the number one highlight of the week.
Boom shakalaka. This is week number 10, day number 2, the second session of Major League Table Tennis, and MLTT is coming to you live from Winter Haven, Florida. Are you guys ready for the action? Alrighty, then without any further ado, let's welcome our officials, Wendy Pan and Jovana Knežević. And the first team to come in is first place in the East Division right now with 239 points. They're at the top of the food chain. A warm welcome for Carolina Gold Rush! And their opponents, the second place to third place team at this moment, but after today we will see. They've got 188 points, and this is no foreign place for these Swampsters. Get on your feet and make some noise for your very own Florida Crocs! Chomp, 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 chomp. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Oh yeah, feeding time. The swamp has been filled and the fans are aplenty. So without any further ado, before we get started, we've got a quick presentation from not only the #1 draft pick, but the #1 player in the league from Carolina Gold Rush, Enzo Angles. Enzo?
Hello, everybody. So, yeah, I've been playing table tennis since so many years now, always in France. And so it's the first time that I play abroad in a private league. And so on behalf of myself, of a very good friend in France, we wanted to give you that gift, which has been made by hand. With more than 100 hours of work. And because this league is very important, I think, for table tennis, for the improvement of the overall table tennis. And so we just wanted to thank you, and also from everybody, because it's a big help for the players and for the improvement of table tennis. Thank you.
Thank you, Enzo. I'm Clint Lane. I'm the commissioner of Major League Table Tennis. On the behalf of our entire team, everybody in the league, all the players, I just want to let everybody know we are open to receiving gifts from other players, so feel free to send them our way. No, honestly, this is really special. I think you were telling me your friend Damien spent close to 100 hours putting this together. It's a mosaic. It is quite beautiful. Our logo is done really well. It'll be sitting on my table if anybody wants to stop by. But with that, let's get it back to Adam and let's get some action going.
Wow, exciting times. All right, the commish Flint Lane, Damien, 100 hours, 99 of which spent waiting for the tools to come in. No, a lot of work. But now the battle will begin, and since all the warriors are here, let's shake some hands and slap some skins and let the games begin.
Beautiful gift from Enzo Angles, and we'll see how the Carolina Gold Rush with Enzo leading the way fare tonight. We are in Croc country here in Winter Haven, Florida. There are Gators, there are Crocs, and there's plenty of action that we're expecting to see tonight. It's the Gold Rush and the Crocs. They meet head-to-head for the 5th time this season. So far, the Gold Rush have beaten the Crocs twice, and the Crocs have beaten the Gold Rush twice. But this game means a little bit more because Florida, really for the first time all year, finds himself not in the top two. The Crocs got off to such a phenomenal start to the season, but they have kind of regressed to the mean a bit. Meanwhile, the Surging Revolution are now 9 points clear of Florida. So the Crocs with a lot of pressure as they go head-to-head against the #1 team in the league. Good evening once again, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night Table Tennis here in Winter Haven with Matt Hetherington. I'm Evan Lepler. Frank Arias told me that they're not worrying about the pressure. They just want to go and play their best. Can you avoid it? Can you avoid thinking about it?
No. No, you can't. I mean, they can try. They can go out there and just focus on points because that's what's going to be important for them. But, of course, you know, this is a team that's been in the top two for the entire season. They've just dropped into the third position. So, yeah, there's pressure lingering. And I think, you know, we saw in the last matchup, both teams were kind of here on the edge watching ahead of this match coming up. So they're very aware of what's going on with the point standings. They're very aware of what's going on with the other team's matches. There's pressure everywhere you look.
Let's take a look at the lineups. One thing's clear. If Florida's going to find a way to pull off the upset tonight, it would help to have their #1 player get a point or two for his team. But Enzo has had Daniel Gorak's number. These are the top 2 picks in the draft. They just slapped hands. They've played 3 times already this season, and Gorak only has gotten 1 game out of the 9 against Angles. We'll dive into that matchup here momentarily. What else catches your eye on the rest of the slate this evening?
Well, we've got Ojo and Bastien Dupont taking the table, so singles #3 should be interesting, of course. I think both players have had ups and downs throughout the season, so that's going to be a battle. And, of course, yesterday we saw Marc Duran struggling out of the blocks a little bit in his singles match and again in the Golden Game. So singles #4, we're going to see if Duran comes back with a vengeance today.
Top 2 doubles teams in the East Division by a clear margin. Angles and Lin, a familiar duo. A couple of top 5 players for Carolina, and Gorak and Ekholm both ranked in the top 10. Ekholm coming off a disappointing Golden Game performance where the Crocs ultimately fell short to Princeton. So Carolina coming off an impressive win over Chicago, 16-5 on Friday. Florida losing 14-7, and now look, it's the top 2 players in the league, at least from the draft standpoint. Gorak currently ranked #7. He got off to a great start this season, then had a little bit of a slide. November and January saw some struggles. Enzo has been Mr. Consistent, Mr. Reliable. But Gorak's a smart guy. He's an experienced player. I'm sure he'll have some wrinkle to try to throw at Enzo tonight. What do you think it might be?
I mean, I think he's just determined to have a good result. I mean, if ever there was a time for him to step the bar up, this match is it. If he's got something that he needs to prove and kind of bring some confidence back, then a strong performance against Enzo would be the best place to do it.
Let me hear you make some noise for the first match.
He certainly has home crowd behind him here in Winter Haven, Florida. Not too far away from Gorak's residence.
Angles to serve first.
One, 0.
It was interesting, Matt. Saw both these guys right before they were introduced.
0, 2.
I'm sure they spent plenty of time on the table to get ready. But the last thing that they did to get ready had nothing to do with the table. They were just kind of off by themselves, doing footwork, kind of getting physically loose, agility-wise, physically feeling good. Had nothing to do with the swings, the shots, the racket, the ball. They were just trying to find their own mental headspace. And they were doing it kind of within eye shot of one another.
Yeah, there's not too many places to run and hide in here. So far, Enzo's been pretty solid on the serve. The serve receive for Gorak is a huge point of focus here for him. He doesn't want to pop the ball up. Enzo can finish those points off really quickly, so far Enzo with the serve advantage.
Gorak back within one. First meeting between Florida and Carolina back in September. Gorak and Enzo did not meet head-to-head. That caught the edge, and Enzo in front 5-3. I remember at the time feeling disappointed that we didn't get the top two players, the 2 first-round draft picks squaring off, but we've got it every matchup since. This is their 4th time playing a singles match. Oh, you kidding me? Enzo Anglais somehow wins that point. That was a Houdini act right there.
You've got to feel for Gorak. He did such a great job of recovering off that ball, which clipped the edge. Played inside out, but...
What do you call that shot?
Magic. Gorak just stepping away from the table to try and reset.
Absolutely ridiculous. Gorak doesn't let that same point get him twice, and he's right back within 2 against Anglais.
Gorak's got to keep that body weight forward in the rallies. It's one of the more important things for him. You can see he gets pushed back into the elbow a little bit. He doesn't want to play forehands in line or even a little bit behind his body. You can see the big difference in the ball quality when he keeps that timing in front of him.
Yeah, how does he avoid getting pushed back? Is it a mindset, or is it?
It's a lot of it's a kind of anticipation and footwork thing, because you know Enzo's kind of trying to target that elbow area, and tends to catch Gorak leaning. Very vocal, Daniel Gorak.
And he's hanging around here.
Certainly a quick enough player to make a big impact in this match. Not the serve receive that he wants. He's got to be really careful.
Enzo's won the last 7 games he's played against Gorak, dating all the way back to October. And while a couple of those games have been close, it's been pretty one-sided. But we know Gorak's got weapons. And when he's in form, which he looks to be at the start of this match tonight, he's going to give Enzo a battle. It's been a really interesting first 15 points here. Anglais with a big let's go.
coming in with the backhand flick, but not quite in position for the follow-up.
Game point. Gorak able to fight it off, and he's got 2 serves coming his way now. 8 serving 10 here in the opening game. How high would you say that ball toss is from Enzo Angles?
2.5 meters. Oh, sorry. According to Sean, I'm not allowed to say it in meters. What is that in feet?
7 feet. 9, 7, 8 feet.
I'm going to stick to my guns, and we're going to stay with 2.5 meters for
I'll allow
all the
it.
international viewers out there that have warmly embraced.
So how many miles is that ball toss? No, never mind.
Logical system.
9 serving 10 now. And Gorak catches the net. Angles takes game 1. Even when Enzo experiences some mid-game adversity, #1 player in the league seems to always find a way. 11-9 win for Carolina's top star.
So how much of a difference does the equipment make? The question was also framed as opposed to simply their technique or practice put in. Let's put it this way. I would imagine that any one of these pros from MLTT could pick up a recreational racket and beat anyone else in this room. That said, if you put a recreational racket in the weakest player in the entire league and have them play the #1, I'm sorry. You put the Enzo Angles, for example, you gave him a recreational racket and say, you have to play the 164 draft, he would get crushed. Crushed. I'll tell you more about that, I'll elaborate, but a great question. Game #2, it's going to be a good
Getting set for game 2 here between Enzo Angles and Daniel Gorak. As the Gold Rush and the Crocs cap our Saturday session. Major League Table Tennis here in Winter Haven, Florida. After tonight, Matt, there will only be 4 regular season matches remaining for the 4 East Division teams. Getting to the nitty-gritty as Gorak serves to start game 2.
Good to see him leading out with the pendulum serve. I mean, the typical difference between these two is when you have a left and a right-hander playing each other. See Enzo using a lot of short pendulum serves to the forehand with great effect. And Gorak, interestingly, tends to use the reverse pendulum more, but starting out game 2, going for the pendulum short to the forehand, much more awkward ball to receive. There's a lingering banner for the MLTT Fantasy League.
These are 2 pretty good guys to have on your team.
Yeah, aren't they just? Fantasizer.com. It's been great fun for us to get in on it. Gives you a real sense of investment in the players, which I love. I mean, that's such a big thing. If you talk about table tennis being such an individual sport, you really want something where you can get behind your players.
Had you ever played fantasy table tennis before MLTT?
I'd never done Fantasy League for anything. I had a faint idea of what it was. I don't think there ever has been a Fantasy League for table tennis. So, you know, you put Fantasy League in my neighborhood in this sport, then I'll give it a go.
I know you're not a big American football fan. Will you have an eyeball on the Super Bowl tomorrow night?
No. No, not at all.
So who you got, the 49ers or the Chiefs?
I wouldn't have a clue who's on either team.
4-2.
Do you know?
I've been advised to talk about Taylor Swift.
Do you know who her boyfriend is?
Well, only because of her, yeah.
What's his name?
Travis Kelce, is that our guy?
Kelsey. You know what position he plays?
5-2.
No, I don't care. I come from a proud rugby nation. I stick to my guns.
What's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
I don't care about that either.
Well,
you've really set up some great conversation here,
Evan, folks. Anglais serving at 5-2. Game 2.
Six.
Still the serve and receive is the biggest struggle area for Gorak.
That's right now the largest lead of the match for Anglais.
Gorak just not finding his mark on the first opening.
A very different story here in game 2. Game 1 felt tight the whole way. Enzo's got Gorak's number right now, Matt. Punishing forehand winner. My goodness.
2-10.
Gorak just like a wobbling boxer right now. Half-hearted swing at that forehand missile up the line. And game 2 is done.
Second game.
11-2. And didn't even really feel that close.
Wow.
Anglais with a convincing finish. Gorak was ready for that game to be over.
And I've seen players, someone asked last night, has anyone ever been bagel, beaten 11-0 in MLTC? And I checked with our head commentator, these are very statistically friendly guys. He said, yes, you were actually commentating with Adam. Bastien Dupont, if I remember correctly, beat Ulfred Loptic 11-0 in the crossover between East and West. Game 1, 11-0. And guess what the score is for the next 2 games?
My goodness.
I don't remember, but Ulfred Loptic won both of them. Pretty crazy, right? One more point up for grabs right now. Daniel Gorak can take it. Suddenly, Florida Crocs are going to be on the floor.
So Enzo Anglais has outscored Daniel Gorak 22-11 over the course of the first 2 games. Meanwhile, Adam Bobrow is just regaling the fans here in Winter Haven with the story of the 11-zip game. Bastien Dupont blanked Andre Lapchik, but of course Adam reminded the crowd, or educated the crowd, that the next 2 games after Bastien won 11-0, he lost. So he won the opening game 11-0, but he lost the match.
I'm sure Dupont's thrilled to be reminded
Yeah.
about that before taking the table.
He put his hands in his head. Bastien's not a guy that takes himself too seriously. Playful personality, focused when he takes the table. He's got, some time before the 3rd singles match. Could be interesting. Dupont against Ojo. Brossier against Hazin in 2nd singles.
And there you see again Anglais directing the ball into the elbow of Gorak, just getting that slight lean.
purpose for saying that story is to just remind folks that just because one game is 11-2, the other game could be 11-2 the other way. You never know. Oh my. Gorak's like, you gotta be kidding me. Kai Jong were on the table, we'd know we get the samurai celebration pose. But Enzo, courteous wave. Apologetic, but it's 2-all. Well, they say it evens out. It's like Enzo didn't feel comfortable earning the point via the net ball, so he gave it back.
Again, that cross-court short serve to the forehand from Enzo. It's really staple diet for him. Gorak's just struggled with the forehand short receive. I mean, it's kind of normal when right-handers play lefties. There's a lot of pressure on the short forehand receive, and Gorak sends the long reverse a little bit too long.
It's been 5 points since we've seen a rally. Another quick point going Enzo's way.
Again, you see the ball kind of coming back in line with Gorak.
Timeout, Crocs.
Timeout taken by the Florida Crocs here. Let's listen in. Gorak and Frank Arias.
That one unlucky point, the serve you missed was good. It was good because he was entering.
Try to be more aggressive in your go forward, not late. Try to go the ball early.
And when you're doing this serve, he mostly is giving you a return to your backhand. Start like you won 1 point like that. Start with your backhand wide to his forehand, because he's giving you like just to get out of your service. It's just pushing it simple to your backhand. So open there, wide to his forehand. Come on, fight, come on. Come on.
That happened here under pressure against one of the best in the league. That's how good that was. All right, 2-point game right now.
It's a little interesting for me to see the last couple of days where the Crocs have used their first timeout. They did it yesterday in the start of the third with Marc Duran when he really just wasn't hitting his stride.
Demoralizing for the team that took the timeout when very little changes in that next point. Or the point after.
3-7.
Yeah, Gorak just not hitting his notes here at all. This time he gets the ball down the line. Like Frank Arias said, try and find that wider forehand. Get Enzo away from that backhand corner.
4-7.
Gorak's such a capable player, but I think, you know, being here in Florida, the level for training for him is not that high. It's mainly coaching and trying to play tournaments, and it's a tough ask for him to maintain the level needed to take on a player like Enzo Angles.
Another edge ball goes against Gorak. They say they even out, but they haven't for him in this match. Angles is, well, I mean, he gave the gift before the match started to the league, and he's gotten a bunch of gifts in this match.
This time Gorak stays forward. Body weight forward on the forehand counters, and he's in it. Just pushes Enzo deeper into the backhand corner. And again, the serve receive just costing a lot of points here.
Angeles 1 point away from another convincing sweep. Enzo Angeles again finds a way back in the point and then takes it 11-9, 11-2, and 11-5. Enzo delivers 3 more points for the first place Carolina Gold Rush. Joined by Enzo Angeles. A lot of chats after victories. Enzo, here's to another good chat after a 3-0 win. Really competitive first game. Daniel Gorak made you really earn it late. It was 10-9. You were able to get it done. What was the difference in games 2 and 3 where you really won convincingly?
No, I was consistent all the way. Tactically, I changed a few things, and yeah, I mean, I was just keeping playing forward and with confidence. So I'm glad.
And how important was the serve game for you? I mean, you put a lot of variations short into his forehand. It looked like he was really struggling to figure out how to receive against you, which was a big factor as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I started after to change more my service, there was more uncertainty for him, and so I could also play my backhand better. And yeah, overall I'm very happy also with my backhand quality actually.
Enzo, what is your game day routine? Can you take us from when you woke up this morning, what you ate, when you practiced, how you mentally prepare yourself for your match?
Actually, I always try, because it's very hard, like, you know, you travel, you go to France, I lose some games because, you know, it's different. And so very fast it can put your head down. And so I always try to feel confident and decide to be confident and feel happy when I play. Because when I'm happy, always, when my mind is there, my body just go for it, go forward. But if my mind is not really there, my body doesn't go. And so my body and my mind have to be a team and not opponent, that I can keep playing forward and keep trusting myself and with confidence and happiness.
Do you feel like the level you're playing at now is the highest level you've been at all season?
No, I don't think so. I think it's quite similar as the first 2 weekends, for example. But I mean, no, it's good. It's good. I'm very happy. I have to keep consistency like that, and it will be fine for the rest of the season.
Well, you gave the gift to the league, and you got a couple of gifts in terms of net balls and edge balls in that match.
Yeah, this we like.
Good karma for you. Enzo, congrats. Good luck in doubles. We'll see you in a bit. Second singles, here we go. Brossier versus Hazin. Brossier serves first.
1-0.
Brossier is a great control player. Mixes in a lot of style and flair into his game. But one of the things that we've noticed about him is how quickly he gets into the zone. The focus from Benjamin Brossier is present from the very first point.
These two players have met in one singles match. It was back in October in the event in Myrtle Beach. Brossier took 2 out of 3. Hazin took game 1, and Brossier bounced back to take the second and third games. 3-1 lead here in game 1 for Brossier.
3-1. No.
Both these players have competed in the Olympics, representing their countries.
Jeremy is going to be ramping up his preparations to try and qualify for Paris. Brossier finds a gap in what is usually a very solid defense. It'll certainly be interesting to see what the perspectives of these players are on playing each other for the second time.
Good return from Brossier, and he's won 6 of the first 8 points to start this match. Edge ball from Hazim. He'll take it. Players trade apologies. Last couple of points. You know, in tennis, you'll see a player apologize for a net ball winner. Certainly don't see them apologize for hitting the line. You also see in tennis a player, clap their racket, applauding a good shot. You don't see the applauding your opponent after a really good shot that often in table tennis.
It tends to happen more sarcastically if you look at some players. I can think of one player in particular that is a big advocate for the old sarcastic clap, usually for an umpire call or a lucky ball.
Do you like to name names?
Yeah, Chen Wei-Shing. He's a very entertaining player to watch.
4-10.
As soon as I think of any players clapping after a point, that's the image I get in my head straight away.
Game point for Brossier.
Kind of a worrying starting position for Jeremy Hazim. Given how their match went last time, I wonder if Brossier has some ideas
10-6.
about how to get a stronger start this time. Not an easy matchup for Jeremy.
Got an edge ball to stay in this opening game, but the serve back to Brossier at 10-6. And it's over at 11-6. Crocs began the night 9 points behind Princeton for the second place position in the East Division. They're now 8 points behind, with 17 points still available tonight here in Winter Haven. Well, throughout the season, Benjamin Brossier has been a solid performer for the Florida Crocs. Jeremy Hazim has had his moments, gotten some nice wins. Carolina's greatest strength has obviously been Enzo Angles in both singles and doubles. You know, Roman Lawrence has held his own in the other end of the AB slot.
I think one of the things that the players that have come up against Jeremy have become aware about, and I mean, you know, from a tactical standpoint, I'm sure they're pretty familiar with his game style already, but I think they're not as threatened by the lack of power that comes from Jeremy's side of the table. If they can get used to the timing changes and they can handle the placement, then they can feel a little bit more confident knowing that Jeremy's not going to hit through them. And I think that's a comfort for Brossier, having played Jeremy before, that he can just kind of stay at the mid-distance, make sure he gets in position for the ball, but he's not really at risk of being put on blast.
Brossier in front 4-0. Can I go back to the Enzo Anglais interview from just a short while ago? You know, the last question I asked him, he gave kind of an answer to a different question. But it was still really interesting to hear him talk about how, you know, he wants to get himself in the right mental headspace. He kind of decides to be confident. Those were his words. I mean, obviously he's got the skills and the tools, and
that generally helps a lot.
It does. It was an interesting way for him to put it, deciding to be confident.
I mean, I guess it's easy to come out to the table with that mentality. Sometimes, you know, I'm sure Daniel Gorak decided to be confident coming into the match as well. But, you know, if you don't get in there and get some points under your wings, then that confidence can kind of disappear quickly. I think it definitely helps that Enzo has such a good record behind him and is able to perform to kind of help that confidence play through more. Brossier right now looks like tactically he is way ahead here in this match.
Why? What's he doing?
Just consistent from both wings. Again, not really being afraid that Jeremy's going to hit through him. He's okay to take the ball a little bit later and just roll through the contact. It's a very consistent gameplay.
8-2.
And we see many more errors from Jeremy, who we're not used to seeing errors from.
All Brossier right now. That's a heck of a shot. Other thing to keep in mind as we head to the doubles, Matt. Enzo and Hong Lin have had Gorak and Ekholm's number. 4-0 against him in matches, including a couple of sweeps. So I mentioned that just to say this. Florida really needs Benjamin Brossier to pull off the sweep here and not have a letdown after an 11-2 blitzkrieg over Jeremy Hazin. So Enzo dominated Gorak in the first singles match. Benjamin Brossier has returned the favor through 2 games for the Florida Crocs here in second singles. Now 23-8 overall points. Been one of the most lopsided matches we've seen, through a couple points here in game 3.
Brossier going for the big backhand from almost all the way at the back barriers.
Three straight for Hazine.
He's really trying to stay aggressive in the rallies. He's taking a bit more risk than we're used to seeing from him, but
had to do something different.
Yep.
3-3.
Brossier looking for the chance to slide that forehand in.
Hazine perseveres, though. Brossier making him work for it, but Hazine has won 5 of the last 6 points. They switch sides with him up 5-3.
You can see Brossier still not feeling too much pressure, even when Jeremy's attacking at 100%.
And let's face it, if Hazine can steal a point here for Carolina after what we saw in the first 2 games, I mean, it's massive for the Gold Rush. Frankly, it feels typical for the Gold Rush. It's what guys like Hazine and Dupont have done all year long. Stolen 1 or 2 points here and there. And then you factor in Enzo's 5 points on a bad day.
Yeah, exactly.
And all of a sudden, you know, they've got a 10-5 lead going into the Golden game. Like clockwork. Benjamin Brossier able to turn that point around and leave Hazine frustrated at the end of the table.
Timeout. Gold Rush.
Timeout, Carolina. First timeout taken by Alex Yang.
Carolina Gold Rush is Alex Yang Shagong. Former provincial team
Imagine that he will converse with Jeremy in Mandarin.
别急，我知道你累了，打完高球2个。哎，先打了，以前弹得很好了，来，这种球别急，别想一下干死他，看找机会干他了，来。 别急啊！发球往正手位偏一点了，不能发长，不要发长，短的往正手位。当你手全发中间。
Oh, it's so good. Can I feel it? I just want to see. Oh, it's soft. Oh, it's still like a puppy.
Some people have Rosetta Stone. We have Matt Hetherington. Matt?
No. Sometimes I can deliver.
I've never touched Taylor Swift's hair before.
Let's not be relying on me
he's
for...
hiding. It's a very soft shirt.
I thought I heard him say G-Way at
good for me.
one point.
All right. I will have him put it on. Ron, you should
Whatever
put
you
it
heard,
on.
I don't think it was a
5-5
reference to
in terms of
Portland's
time.
G-Way.
Game on.
0-2, 5-5, Gold Rush.
We're still working on getting the subtitles.
All I know is that in the beginning, Coach Chiang said, "I know you're tired," because Jeremy was saying, look, he's just not missing anything. He's got to step up the attack. It's a lot of pressure on him. Brossier is just sticking to his guns, playing a good rhythm at that kind of mid-court, a little back from the table, but not too far back. All about spin control, keeping the ball in play.
4 straight points for Brossier.
That's
5-0 run now for Benjamin Brossier.
So far, the timeout calls haven't brought any reward for either team.
Hazin with a resigned look to his body language right now. Similar to what we saw from Gorak against Enzo, quite frankly. Almost caught.
6,
Brossier
9.
frustrated with himself. That snaps a 6-0 run. 5-3 down to 9-5 up. Now 9-6. One more serve for Hazin. He needs it. And he gets it. 9-7.
He's a little bit more direct with the backhand. He's got to get some more snap into those attacking shots.
The way Brossier stays in a point, lunging to keep the ball alive, it's a sight to see. Sets up game point to complete the sweep and even up this team tally at 3 points apiece. There it is. Benjamin Brossier with a 3-0 sweep against Jeremy Hazin. Convincing is right, Matt. 33-15, the aggregate score. And the Crocs are back level as we head toward doubles. Benjamin Brossier joins us now. Congratulations, 33-15. Impressive performance from you. You took 2 out of 3 from Jeremy earlier this year. What did you learn from that match that gave you confidence heading into tonight?
It's a good question because it was a lot about tactic in this match. Jeremy is a player that plays really well if you give him rhythm, like if he can play with your ball. So I tried during this match to change the rhythm a lot, to give like really slow ball that he has to do something on the ball to win the point. And I think it made me also play more calm, more balance between backhand and forehand, and that was the key to the match.
And when you look at kind of your mentality going into these matches, the last couple of days have been pretty tough for the team in terms of having a good start. Obviously, you had Marc Duran yesterday who didn't really find his game, and you have obviously today Daniel going into a tough match to start things out. But every time that you come out onto the table, one of the things that stands out is you're locked in from the first point all the way through to the end.
Yeah.
What is important for you in preparing for your matches to make sure that you get out there and you just go from the very first point?
Yeah, you said something interesting. You talk about the result. I can't control the result, and most of all, I can't control the result of my partner.
Right.
So I try to put the energy on the thing I can control, like my service, my first ball, the physical presence that I put on the table, these kind of things. And I try to focus on that before the match, to be just like on the present moment when I play the match.
Benjamin, congrats on the 3-0 sweep. We'll see you in the Golden Game. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
That's why the umpires are standing, to keep an eye
All right, Angles and Lynn got off to a slow start yesterday, Matt, but my, they responded well. They lost the first game 11-3. They won the next two games 22-6. Take 2 out of 3 in their doubles match with Hanin and Tan. Gorak and Ekholm were 1 point away from a 3-0 sweep.
I know this is interesting because the sheet has the opposite serving order on. So looks like the players are clarifying for the umpire that the serve order might be different. But it looks like it is Caroline is starting with the serve, so everything's in order.
To Ekholm. 2-0 lead for Carolina. They have beaten Florida in every doubles match they've had. 3 of them have been 2-1 wins, and 1 was a 3-0 sweep. So they're 9-3 in games against Gorak and Ekholm. These two consistent doubles pairs.
Ekholm's certainly going to want to try and find some confidence after yesterday's tough loss. It's not easy to bounce back in these matches. You know, when you have a weekend and you have matches on each of 3 days and you have such a tough start to the weekend.
At a typical tournament, though, correct me if I'm wrong, you usually would have multiple matches in a day.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas here, you know, you lose last night. I mean, both these doubles teams won their matches last night, but as a team, Florida lost their match. They have all day to not just sit around and think about it, but to practice, to try to find that right mental headspace for tonight. That's a lot of time to
lingering
contemplate.
Thoughts. Yeah. Yeah.
Angles just continues to hit sharp, consistent loops. Florida's struggling to handle.
It's a pretty risky play. I mean, serving long and doubles is a bold choice of serve, especially the reverse, which kind of plays into the corner.
Carolina's point hit the net. Hit Angles' paddle, but well off the table. Well,
2-8.
Enzo is human after all. Even if the Crocs don't win this game, just gaining a little momentum, showing they can put some rallies together, handle the Gold Rush tactics. That's 3 in a row now for Florida. After the very slow start, both teams go back to the towels at 8-4. That's a tough one.
See Ekholm trying to move, almost move back out of Gorak's space as she hit the ball. She's got to make sure she commits to the shots first.
5, 10.
Good third ball attack from Ekholm. Down 8-1. Back within 4. Scored 5 of the last 7 points. But it's still game point for Hong Lin and Carolina.
Gorak finding some good opportunities with the forehand flick.
Carolina does not win this point. It gets pretty interesting. Florida would have the next 2 serves.
11-7.
They get it done when they need to, as they usually do. Enzo and Hong, both among the top 5 players in the league from a power rankings perspective. Add another point to their incredible season of victories. 11-7, game 1.
Maybe I'll just ask you a question, just so that I can learn. Raise your hand if you've never played a tournament before and your husband didn't drag you. Okay, never played. Okay, what's your name? Sarah, we're gonna do some talking soon, all right? Okay, get ready. If you have any questions, curious about anything, it's okay. You will be after this game, trust me. All right. Here we go, game number 2, the doubles. It is 4-3, Carolina Gold Rush in the lead. Whose house is this, Florida?
How about Enzo and Hong Min doing some footwork drills to get ready for game 2? They try to keep their momentum rolling. Gold Rush back on top 4-3. Ekholm serves to Lin to begin game 2. How about that sequence? Good deep serve. Looked like it caught Lin off guard, but she got it back, and then Enzo handled Gorak's attack. 1-0 Carolina. 2-0 Carolina. Enzo coming around the side of the table to smash a winner. Take that.
Florida will be glad that net came down long. A bit of
Gorak, often a pretty stoic, calm player. Just let loose a calm Cholet after that point.
It's a tough break.
1-3.
The fan made the catch on this ball in the front row off Gorak's paddle.
So looking for that flick down the line. I think one of the key things that stands out between these two partnerships is Hong's ability to really stay up at the table and control. You have Enzo backing her up, whereas Ekholm and Gorak both tend to drift back from the table a bit. Looks like the Revolution have come in to inspect proceedings. I want to see how Florida ends up at the end of tonight.
Just like last month, Carolina and Princeton are meeting on day 3. Last month, Princeton won on Friday and Saturday and lost to Carolina on Sunday. It was still a solid weekend for the Revolution.
And the fortune finally comes back to the Florida Crocs.
Perhaps it's changing a little bit.
Ekholm just laying that ball right onto the corner.
Could see Alvarez lining that one up. Hong Lin now lets one rip. That's the doubles team. That's the #1 doubles team in the league. Showing you why with those last 2 shots.
Quick hands from Ekholm to retrieve that. Not able to win the point though. Honglin was waiting on the corner.
Obviously, Enzo and Hong are both really talented players, and they've worked well together, and that's why they're good. What about the dynamic that one's a shake hold and the other's a pen holder? I mean, obviously one's a righty and the other's a lefty. Does having the 2 different grips play a factor in their success at all?
Yeah, more so in terms of the heading style, because Hong has short pips rubber on the forehand and tends to kind of flat drive more with the forehand. Again, she stays up at the table, very close to the table, has very good control, but she also has the opportunity to hit quite hard and flat against any ball that pops up a little bit. So if Enzo lumps on the pressure, he can help set Hong up for potential to finish the point, and also goes back the other way as well.
Eight all here in game 2. Be a big point for the Crocs. Regardless of what happens in game 3, obviously they'd have a chance to win it. Take 2 out of 3, but just getting 1, keeping it close. Every point counts.
9-9.
The race being so tight for that second playoff spot. 9 all as they go back to the towels here in game 2. In their 4 previous matches, now 13 total games, there's never been a golden point in doubles between Angles and Lin and Gorak and Ekholm, which is a little surprising. Maybe that changes momentarily.
9-9.
That's great table tennis. And the Crocs take it to game point.
Not sure about that tumble from Enzo. He's kind of clutching his knee a bit there, but looks like he's okay for the most part. A great rally from the Crocs. Big wide angle from Gorak to finish things off.
The pace has really slowed here in this second game. Both teams taking a good 5-10 extra seconds in between points to converse, to strategize, to game plan. 9 serving 10. Oh, what a shot by Angles. And then a missed hit from Ekholm. We're tied 10 apiece for the first time between Carolina and Florida. We get a golden point in the doubles match. And it'll be on Matilda Ekholm's opportunity to go for the third ball attack after Gorak serves.
Matilda's got to keep her attack low to the net. Anything too slow or too high is
Carolina takes it. Ekholm flips her racket, gets a yellow card.
On golden point, take the game. I know you guys wanted to
was
see
right
that
there on the
replay.
table. Played the wide angle. It was a great play. Gorak just not able to convert. They had Carolina squished right into the corner. Tough break for the Florida Crocs again.
Little fun fact, I like to keep my eyes on this screen when there's no action happening. You might be live to the world. You might be live to the world. Sir, we heard your story. You're the husband.
It was Gorak that made the error at the end. It was Ekholm that flipped her paddle in frustration and was immediately given a yellow card by umpire Jovana Kesnovic. Is that just an automatic thing?
More or less. I mean, it depends a lot on the nature of which the paddle is thrown, but
Humility and
yeah,
charm. That is it. Humility and charm.
I would say at that point it's kind of expected. The yellow card, right? Not the racket throw itself, but mind you, Matilda's an incredibly passionate player, and she just really cares. I mean, you might not see this from her if she's playing an individual match. If she's just playing for herself, probably less frustration, but at the end of the day, she just really cares about doing her bit for the team, and when she's not able to do that, I mean, she definitely takes a lot of the pressure onto herself.
Carolina Gold Rush back to the table, the final game of the doubles match. Here we go.
So reset the scoreboard, back to 0-0, game 3. Angles and Lin going for the sweep. Gorak and Ekholm looking to salvage a point and bring the Crocs back within 1.
I really think Ekholm's playing a better game than she did yesterday. She's kind of started to try and hold a bit closer to the table. Not getting pushed back as much. And Gorak will be thrilled with that, converting the point against the netball.
Gorak digs this out from the side of the table. Lin has a whole table and swing she wants back.
And you can just see, when you see that side-on view, you can see that the Crocs are pushed right to the edge. Hong's right up at the table. Enzo's kind of at the mid-distance, but the Crocs are getting pushed back in those rallies.
Enzo's got to be among the better players in the league. at creating offense from that mid-distance off the table.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, he gets onto his forehand, and I think ball trajectory-wise from the mid-court, he's definitely able to implement more power than other players that kind of spin the ball up more.
How about that? A little chop.
And Hong gets thrown again. Bit of kick on the ball, and that's all it takes. Don't think it curved quite as much as she thought it would. She kind of moved over, anticipating a bit more side spin action on the ball.
Angues and Lin both sharing a chuckle after that point. They're still smiling over it.
3-3.
Gorak gets a freebie there from the long fast reverse. Goes for it again. Ekholm again, staying forward, trying to put the pressure on. Bad quality ball, but a little bit higher and slower. It's enough for Enzo to get on top of the ball.
They switch sides at 5-4. Ekholm was just hitting to Angues. Now Ekholm will hit to Lin.
5-4.
Ojo and Dupont up next in the singles.
Who you liking that one?
In terms of firepower, Ojo's bringing a lot to the table, but I think he's struggled a little bit more in the last couple of matches. I think it's been not the best timing for Florida. It kind of seems like the players that came out strong in the beginning have faded a little, and some of the other teams like Matthias Harbison was saying in his post-match interview, they're picking their level up. I'd give Ojo a little bit of favor, but Dupont certainly has the skills to make a match out of it.
Tension in this doubles match, partly due to obviously what's at stake, partly because the players have kind of let it breathe. That's natural in doubles, of course, to call the play before each serve, as Enzo just did, reaching under the table. Let Hong Lin know where the serve was going. Did that catch?
Flipped, but there's a little argument about whether it hit the side or Enzo said he heard the ball, but he didn't know whether it went side or not. It did go down, so
I gave the point to Florida.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a fairly reasonable call.
Gorak and Ekholm thought they had a sweep in doubles yesterday. Gorak with a gentlemanly replaying of a point on a ball that they thought they may have missed the wrong side on the serve. Missed the right side on the serve, I should say. And Jishan Liang and Angela Blonde ended up winning that game 11-10. What if that's the point that keeps Florida out of the playoffs?
Something's better left unsaid, Evan, and that's probably up there on the list.
Crocs were down 9 points coming into this match. Trailing Princeton now for second place. 6 points behind at the moment. It looks like Angles and Lin are gonna close out another hard-earned sweep. But not yet, says Matilda Ekholm. All of a sudden, 10-7 to 10-9. Gorak and Ekholm trying to steal this one here. But it's over now. Angles and Lin complete the sweep. 11-7, 11-10, and 11-9. Another day, another 6 points for Enzo Angles. And we're joined once again by Enzo Angles, a 3-0 sweep in singles, a 3-0 sweep in doubles. Are you pleased?
How do I know?
That's fun.
You got off to a great start in that doubles match, and then Daniel and Matilda fought back, really pushed you to the brink in game 2. But you and Hong Lin all season long have had the answers. What was the key in your mind to closing out that doubles match with a 3-0 sweep?
Actually, we are playing better and better. We were playing really good at the beginning of the season, and then after we had a moment where I feel like we were not really playing for each other. And yesterday and today, it was really great because I feel now we both build the point for each other, and this is very important.
And if you think about, you know, competing against other pairs, especially in mixed doubles combinations, I mean, Hong's able to really stay up on the table. Is that a really big factor for you guys? Because a lot of the women players, you know, Angela's back there defending. Matilda, she kind of gets pushed back a lot as well. How big of an importance is it for you that
I cannot hear nothing. It's so high here. I cannot hear nothing.
So how important is it for your combination that Hong's able to really stay up on the table?
No, it's very good. It's very good because she can play fast. She just need to work on the place.
Yeah.
And then after I can find my forehand. So it's very good, and that's why also we play good, because my line is a little bit more behind, and she stay closer. So that's why it's very efficient.
We see players from all the different teams commingling with one another. There's a lot of friendship and camaraderie. I'm curious if Jishan Liang, Hong Lin's husband, has ever given you any advice as to how to bring out the best in Hong Lin on the table.
No. No, absolutely not. We just need to. I think my goal is always that she feels good and that she doesn't care about missing. And so I always prefer when she misses, but she really hit the ball than miss and just, play flat and just play a half %. So that's why it's very important, and that's why I think we are good, because we always bring each other up.
Thank you for the perspective as always, Enzo. Third singles, Bastien Dupont versus Ojo Onaolapo.
What a question. Right, here we go. Ojo Onaolapo taking on Bastien Dupont. Crocs need some points on the board here. Not just to help them into the match, but to help them in the season standings for the East Division.
We've done so many interviews with Enzo Angles this season.
You need something else.
Just trying to come up with something new. That's one I have not asked him before.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. The thing he said about he doesn't want her to be afraid to miss. He wants her to go for it.
I feel like that was a very generic answer to get away from the question. But certainly, I think going into finals, I mean, I'm sure Carolinas are going to be one of the Final Four teams, but I think that doubles combination is going to really play heavily into what happens in the finals. But of course, you know, when we had the cross division, we didn't have players like Amy Wong and Lily Zhang, so could be some different doubles combinations on the West Coast that could potentially do some more damage.
Without question, Carolina's a heavy favorite to hoist the very first MLTT Cup at championship weekend. If you think about it, no other team is close to clinching their spot there. The 4 teams out west are all within 11 points. The top 3 teams are within 3 points of each other. Here in the East Division, Princeton in a battle with Florida, pursuit of that second spot. Carolina, I think despite the fact that they have such a big lead and they continue to play well, largely behind Angles and Lin.
3-7.
I mean, Carolina has been a juggernaut from the start. And obviously Enzo's been great, but I think that their supporting cast has certainly held their own as well. Ojo's gotten off to a good start here, though, against Bastien Dupont, winning 8 of the first 12.
Dupont's got to be really careful about any ball that drifts half long. He's got to either keep the ball as short as possible, or if he's going to play long, it has to be really deliberate. Ojo is a solid player at picking up half-long ball with his forehand.
8-4.
Ojo's got a good record this year against the Gold Rush. Hasn't played Dupont, but he's 5-1 in a couple singles matches. He sat out the other 2 opportunities, but he beat Hazine 3-0. He beat Kai Zhang 2-1.
Ojo gets that ball inside the line just in the nick of time. Swung it in from outside.
That'll be the story of game 1, 11-4 for the Nigerian Ojo Ona-Olapo. We saw Enzo sweep Gorak, we saw Brossier sweep Hazine, we saw a sweep in doubles. Can Bastien Dupont level this match, or will the series of sweeps continue? Time will tell. What'd you like from Ojo in game 1, Matt?
Just solid performance. Heavy rotation on his first ball. Lots of power. This is characteristic stuff for Ojo. It's what we're used to seeing from him. It's what he's brought in the pressure moments of Golden Games. A big start for the left-handed Nigerian power player. Dupont, we didn't really see him get in and take initiative and be able to attack. Played a lot of short balls, which is not necessarily a bad strategy, but you've got to get out of that short space close to the net at some point and do something to give yourself the upper hand. So whether he's coming in and flipping or whether he's going to play out long, he's got to figure out which is the best solution.
1-2.
That's not going to be it. A little bit too shallow there. Better shot. Gets the ball deep, but Ojo is deceptively quick at getting into position. Ojo's short game's also been really strong. He's doing a good job of preventing Dupont from playing too much aggressively.
3-3.
Dupont's got to take those opportunities. He's got to get the ball as deep towards the baseline as possible. He doesn't want anything to go shallow. You go shallow against a power player, you're going to end up in a bit of a predicament. There's that half-long ball. Dupont just letting the ball drift out a little bit. Not sure whether that's intentional or not. Dupont's definitely got to start targeting that forehand corner more. Ojo on the step around has proven himself in the start of this game already. I think with the serve receive, Dupont's got to mix in short forehand, long forehand corner.
Mixing in the deep serve. Is that Adi Serene or Bastien Dupont?
Ball almost comes back in. Dupont going after the forehand side. Ojo. It's a player with very strong legs, very quick footwork.
5-7.
Dupont back within one.
That slow spin ball is creating some problems for Ojo. There's Enzo giving some.
Yeah, he's locked in on this match. Coaching up his countrymen after every point. Dupont and Angles locking eyes. Too good for Mona Lapo.
A bit of a sneaky fast backhand serve there from Ojo, but Dupont right on top of it.
First game was 11-4. Obviously, a very different feel in game 2. And Dupont takes the lead. Big double fist pump from Enzo Angles over on the Carolina bench. Says something about Carolina, their top player, earned 6 points, and he's not detaching from the match at all mentally, staying locked in, focused, trying to continue to earn every single point.
He's on his feet right now, right up on the bench side. Not sitting down either. He's going to stay standing.
Enzo over Ojo's shoulder.
Enzo's been trying to signal Dupont to use the backhand flick, it seems.
Let.
He's still doing it. I'm not sure if...
And when Ojo gets into the battle of forehands, you like his chances.
Especially against an opening backspin ball. I think Dupont's tried to play long backspin a lot. I think that's why Enzo's trying to signal for him to do something a little different. And of course, as a right-hander, he can get the ball out wide with a backhand flick. Just playing long backspin against a player with so much third ball attack power is not going to be a viable strategy for him.
Much tighter in game 2, but ultimately the same result. Ona-Olapo over Dupont. And the Crocs are back within 1. One more game to go in this match as Ojo seeks a sweep.
Tell me your name. No way. Wait, that's the winning guard. We got a winning you had a question earlier related to training plans. You still have that question? You can issue a task if you represent the guard issue like what I go into. Okay. That's a good question. Well,
Ojo Ona-Olapo,
and you still are.
in his late 20s, born in Nigeria, now lives in New Jersey.
But we'll talk about that more.
A member of the Nigerian national team throughout his career. He's had an above 500 record in singles throughout the season. And after being inactive yesterday, has gotten off to a good start here this weekend in Winter Haven for the Florida Crocs. Now he's got the serve on his paddle, looking for the 3-game sweep.
There's the long push receive again from Dupont. And he gets him with the backhand flick. I think that's an area that Enzo Angles is really trying to push him to feel confident to flick receive instead of pushing all the time. This time it's Dupont who gets him with a step around forehand. The more we see him finding those attacking opportunities, the more points tend to fall his way.
1-3.
Dupont's either got to play short or get him with the flick straight away. Goes for the half-long opening. Positive stuff.
I haven't gone through the entire season, but I can tell you that in East Division games, this is the first match ever where the first 3 matches were all sweeps. And Ojo Ona-Olapo trying to make it 4 straight sweeps, but Bastien Dupont certainly with other ideas. And I think that speaks to just the competitive balance of the league. There's a lot of 2-1 results. Now, we have seen at least one sweep in most matches.
Dupont getting in. I think the more topspin we see from Dupont, the bigger chance there is for him to clinch this third game.
Of the 67 team matches we've seen so far in MLTT history, 60 of them have had at least one 3-0 sweep. So that's nearly 90%. The interesting quirk of that, which I've mentioned to you before and you dismissed as being meaningless, but I'm going to mention it again. You will not dissuade my spirit.
He's a fast learner, Evan.
Princeton has been involved in 5 of the 7 matches where there was no sweep. Make some sense of that.
No.
I'll let you ruminate. You can think about it overnight.
Yeah.
We'll reconvene tomorrow.
I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Enzo again showing his investment in this match.
It's cool to see.
Back way off the table on the defense. Tries to come back in and put the pressure back on Ojo, but lost a bit of control there. Dupont's got to close this out and get this point locked in. Ojo coming back to the backhand serve, just clawing back 1 point at a time here.
It's 8-2. Ojo's scored 3 in a row to slice the 6-point gap in half. It's 8-5 now, and Carolina takes some time out.
No. Hey, one push, second we have open. Why push? Don't push twice. Why? One push, he push back, open. Flip, everything open. You don't push second one. Right?
You guys hear that? What happens if they break their paddle during a match? If it's intentional, you're done. You're gone, you're out.
Serve,
You can't
second
get a
one, open.
replacement. If it's unintentional,
A lot of half long,
you can
open,
use a
open.
spare. A lot of pros
Miss,
use a spare
lose,
with
lose.
them. Every
If we
once
push,
in a
push,
while,
you gotta
someone
lose.
will even borrow a teammate's racket. But if you break it out of anger, done. By the way, in terms of attendance here, the question before about
Very to the point advice there from Coach Yang.
Happy
Get in,
New Year
play
to
topspin.
everybody. And if you're curious why the stands
Quite
aren't
right.
quite as
The more
filled as
topspin
usual,
Dupont's
it's
played, the
family
better
time
chance
for a
he's
lot
had
of table
of
tennis
winning the
fans.
points.
All right, back for the action. 3
Alex Yang
points
saying,
between them.
don't
Here
push
we go.
twice in a row. Don't try and play short twice in a row. You play one, get in and flip. Get in and play topspin. And he does get in. Makes a huge difference. Dupont sets himself up with some game points here.
That's how it comes to an end. Ojo takes 2 out of 3, but Dupont salvages a point for Carolina in game 3, 11-6, and keeps Carolina in front. It's a 7-5 match heading into the final singles showdown. Roman Lorenz and Marc Duran coming up. We will chat with Ojo in just a moment.
Now, Flynn Lane, the commissioner, scheduled everything on Sunday.
And we're joined by Ojo Onaolapo, 2 out of 3, Ojo. You got to sit and watch yesterday. I imagine you were eager to get to the table tonight. How do you feel about your performance?
I mean, I feel good, but that is not, I really want to win 3-0. But when it's second game, I felt a little pain in my knee, so that made me hurry that I just want to win the point on time.
For another sport and Taylor Swift, if that's your
And
thing.
you started out, you got a lot of opportunities to attack. You know, he was pushing long quite a lot. You got in position. You were playing really good third ball attack. How did things change in the third game?
Yeah, the third game. During the second game, when I'm close like 8, I felt a pain in my knee. So it couldn't give me the confidence to keep going the way I was going. So I just have to be careful because, you know, there's here a golden game. So I just have to, you know, keep the momentum like that and wait for the right moment.
Ojo, throughout the season, you've had some memorable moments in the Golden Game. Obviously, tonight's Golden Game is really important for your team. What's the mindset for you going into the Golden Game tonight and really going into any Golden Game? What's made you successful in that?
The Golden Game is just, you know, you believe in your team. That even though you lose all the 4 points, your team is going to, you know, get back to you. You just have to keep believing that it's okay. Just play your part. It don't matter if you lose; they're not gonna be upset. They're just gonna keep going, you know. And in Golden Game, the only thing you need is confidence.
What will you do between now and the Golden Game to stay sharp and focused?
I just have to, you know, to work on my knee to try to see how it feels, and just forget about the knee Golden Game. If you want to break, you break, because Golden Game is very important.
We'll let you go. Congrats on 2 points for your team. We'll see you in the Golden Game. Thanks, Ojo.
Thank you very much.
All righty, time for Lawrence versus Duran.
This is going to be interesting.
Duran has beaten Roman 3-0. Roman has beaten Duran 2-1. And Duran has beaten Roman 2-1. So there's been a good back and forth rivalry between these two players. Let's see what we have in store tonight. Florida could still potentially lead going into the Golden Game if Mark Duran can find his rhythm. I know he's capable of sweeping Roman Lawrence. He's done it before. But Roman takes the table knowing he needs just 1 point to guarantee Carolina will head to the Golden Game with a lead. And that's a heck of a winner right there. Take a 2-1 lead. What are your main thoughts heading into this match?
I mean, it's really about which Mark Duran shows up. I mean, to this point, before yesterday, we've only really known one. But you know, he was struggling yesterday, and that's going to be the big factor, is whether or not he shows up and keeps his energy up. And
there's definitely a little bit of a lethargic start for him in his match against Jishan Liang.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He found a little bit something late, but still lost game 3, 11-9 after the first two were 11-6, 11-5.
Yeah, he managed to pump himself up a bit more in the Golden Game, so we'll see how the singles goes. Strong start here. Making some early unforced errors in the rallies. Trying to get in for those backhand punches.
What's Roman's greatest weapon?
Forehand footwork, I think. Forehand positioning. He's able to get onto his forehand early in a point. Serve and receive set him up pretty well for forehand. I mean, Sasha said yesterday after their match. Dangerous forehand. If he gets on the forehand, things start to become more dangerous. Prime example right there.
Think about the French flavor of this Carolina team. Obviously Enzo leading the way, but Bastien Dupont, Romain Lawrence too. We've got
French onion soup.
One way to put it. Serve piping hot.
10-3.
And that's the end of game one.
11-3
11-3 for Romain Lawrence. Convincing performance and another slow start for Marc Duran, who a month ago put together some of the most sizzling memories in that entire event. But Carolina has guaranteed itself a lead heading into the Golden Game as Lawrence gets game one.
But I have a funny feeling down the road we're going to have special sections for them to watch where they can't be viewed by us commoners. Just saying. Pretty cool right now. Good to have you guys here. I was just thinking to myself, how can the team be so strong? Who do they have? Think about it. You got players from France, you got Canadian Olympians, Chinese players who come to the United States. It's interesting to hear all the map. The season's not over yet. Does anyone on the map? Carolina Gold Rush. Not be top two in each division is impossible. You guys are all focusing on how to beat the Crocs. You guys play Carolina Gold Rush tomorrow. It's going to be Sean Coleman on the opposite side of the table. Tomorrow. That'll be
We've talked throughout the season about how winning game one in dominant fashion does not guarantee success in games 2 and 3. We've seen big turnarounds this weekend and all season long. But certainly a convincing start for Romain. Marc Duran confidently striding back to the table, but Lawrence finds the angle and takes the 1-0 lead. And that's a buzzkill right there, a punch in the gut to Duran, who strode back to the table with a look in his eye and loses the first 2 points on his serve in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, he just really hasn't been able to find his footing in these matches. I think generally when he plays defensively, he still mixes in a lot of attack. Just hasn't been able to apply enough pressure.
So here's the deal, Matt. If Florida doesn't get another point tonight, they're going to be 4 points behind Princeton in the standings heading into tomorrow. Now Princeton has to deal with the Gold Rush tomorrow. Florida has Chicago.
Here comes Marc Duran. Stepping up the aggression. He's got to attack. He has to attack.
Chicago, after their loss today, they're headed in tomorrow probably thinking like, I don't know if they're thinking like this, but they should be thinking they need to, you know, pull off like an 18-3, 19-2. Yeah, they need a big one.
That's an irretrievable serve there. Romain just serving short onto the edge of the table. Not much you can do about that.
Tip your cap, move on.
There it is, Durand getting him with the forehand. He's got to find the forehand. I think even in the backhand rallies, he just hasn't been able to put enough pressure. He's trying to go for these punch shots.
That was how to move on.
4-5.
Much more competitive here in game 2.
Roman's still fairly well in control here.
That's
Wow. A laser from Roman Lorenz. Nothing Durand could do. 7-4.
5-7.
See Roman's reaction after that miss? He kind of did a little shimmy as if to say, what did I just do? Look at Lorenz. Little robot.
Durand's just kind of handed Roman too many opportunities to get him with the forehand. You have to be very deliberate when you play against a player like Roman Lorenz to stop him from getting onto the forehand.
8-6.
Brossier.
9-6.
Game points for Lorenz.
11-6.
11-3 and 11-6. And Roman Lorenz has guaranteed himself a win in the singles match. Now he's trying to build a 5-point lead for his team heading into the Golden Game. Carolina continues to churn out points.
They would be up 10-5. In that differential, little quick math, carry the one and then 10 to start 5, okay, divided by 2 and that's past 40. Okay, it's 5-point lead. So, in the Golden Game, it would be a 5-0 start for Carolina Gold Rush in the game of 21. But Mark Durand could cut that down to 3. I came up here to stomp and I came up here to stomp. Anyone with me?
Well, it may feel like Carolina's got all the momentum, and well, Roman Lorenz has certainly given that. Mark Durand will try to flip the script here in the final game before the Golden. And this matters, and here's why. Yes, Carolina's going to have a lead going into the Golden Game. That is a certainty. However, the margin of their lead is up in the air. It'll either be 3 or 5. So far this season, when a team's been down by 5 going into the Golden Game, they've won 8% of the time. When a team's been down by 3 going into the Golden Game, they've won 39% of the time. So the odds are against them either way, but that's almost a 5 times more success rate if Mark Duran can salvage this game. And that doesn't even account for the momentum gained and just the positive vibes coming off the table for Duran here heading into the Golden Game.
I mean, he's got to do something right now. Just not finding his mark with the backhand. I mean, gets into a forehand counter rally. As soon as the ball comes back across to the backhand. Trouble for Duran.
Heck of an effort from Lorenz, but Duran finally able to win the point.
It's going to give him some confidence going into play a crossover here in the third game.
To Everett, Washington in 2 weeks for the West Division penultimate West Coast weekend. And then Lawrenceville, New Jersey is where the East Division playoff spots will be confirmed.
It's going to be a big one.
And then Wichita, Kansas. I just booked my flight to Wichita the other day.
3-5.
Never booked a flight to Wichita before. It was exciting. I'm going to try very hard to refrain from all the Wizard of Oz jokes, but I can't guarantee anything.
Lawrence is fighting back here after the players have switched ends.
How close to Lawrenceville, New Jersey did you previously live?
About an hour away. I'd say about an hour.
So this is like a homecoming weekend for you. All the Hetherington groupies in Jersey will be there, I would hope.
Groupies?
I just assume you're an international table tennis icon.
Evan, I'm a table tennis player.
Icon. Timeout taken by Florida.
Yeah, I'm about to send you on a timeout.
Ok, so ¿cuáles son el saque que te ha funcionado?
Estoy sacando al medio aquí bien, pero me la ha tocado fatal. Me ha hecho un flip corto aquí. ¿No?
Sí, pero él nada más está ready con la raqueta arriba. No tiene que hacerle mucho, nada más que ponerla. Está queriendo como forzarlo, apresurándola con el punch. Ponla y te viras.
Otra cosa es que él no hace un flip fuerte. O que te puede quedar, creo que está un poquito muy acá de la mesa. Queda un poquito más encima, entonces así puede coger la bola más rápido.
Me la ha tocado
Eso sí, pero normalmente su flip tampoco es fuerte.
Nada más ready para bloqueársela sin necesidad de hacer punch. Bloqueársela y te vira después. Vamos. Vamos.
Timeout came at a good time for everybody. We're tied 5-5 here in game 3.
5-5.
If you're Frank Arias,
Crocs.
what can you do in terms of tweaking the Golden Game order to try and find an advantage?
Pretty tough question. I'm going to look at the players that have struggled a little bit. So, you know, ideally they want to put Brossier with Jeremy. They want to try and put Ojo with Dupont again. I think those two combinations worked. I'd probably be trying to line Gorak up with Romain Laurence, and then maybe having Duran playing against Enzo.
No, Benjamin Brossier has been Florida's best player today.
7.
Got a 3-0 sweep over Hazim. Do you dare think, okay, well, Brossier has been our top guy, let's throw him against Enzo and see if he can split?
No. No, because if you put him against Jeremy, it's guaranteed points.
But it's not guaranteed
Oh!
points.
It's, okay, not guaranteed points, but given the way that their match was, there's a high chance. I think he's very tactically comfortable with that matchup. So why jeopardize something that's a higher probability and swap it out for something that's going to be much tougher?
Because you got to do something, because otherwise...
Yeah, but you ideally want to change your weak areas. Like, why change the strong areas? I think, honestly, for them, switching Gorak up against Roman would make a reasonable difference potentially.
We'll see. 8-all here in game 3. Still, whether it's a 5-point lead or a 3-point lead hangs in the balance. It's a good ball from Lawrence. Forcing Duran to go lunging for it.
I mean, the other option is that they put Duran up against Hong and see if they can put Matilda somewhere else as well. There's definitely a lot to think about, that's for sure. Roman gets the job done on that one.
Too good. And obviously, it's not all Frank's decision.
Right, exactly.
He chooses who plays first, and then he'll choose who matches up with whoever Carolina puts second. Moments away from figuring out what that order is going to be. Duran with a couple serves here to try to get to 10-all.
Crowd getting amped up here.
Frank Arias just jumped to his feet. Trying to get behind Duran. It's 9 serving 10. But it's over now. Lawrence completes the sweep. Interesting. Duran just kind of smacked the ball in frustration. Florida's already playing with a yellow. If they had given another card right there, it would have been a 6-0 lead at the start of the Golden game instead of a 5. But the card did not come out. Carolina's up 10-5. Roman Lawrence with an impressive sweep for the Gold Rush.
Well, taking things back to the beginning, we started off with the first of many sweeps in this match. Enzo Angles, a pretty dominant performance for Daniel Gorak to get things started for Carolina Gold Rush. But of course, the sweeps have gone a little back and forth. Benjamin Brossier kind of playing the role of the anchor for the Florida Crocs. He made some great tactical decisions in his singles to win 3-0 over Jeremy Hazin. Then we head into the doubles. Enzo and Hong Lin, as he said himself, going from strength to strength as a partnership, a 3-0 sweep for them. Next singles match saw Ojo come out strong on the attack. Dupont making some pretty good adjustments to get the third game, and then we ended with another 3-0 sweep, this time by Roman Lawrence over Mark Duran, and that leaves Carolina's 10-5 with a 5-point lead going into the Golden game.
There's still hope for the Crocs. Let's see if they can make a historic comeback. Here's the Commish Flint Lane.
Okay, thank you, Adam. We have the Carolina Gold Rush are leading 10-5. You'll be starting with a 5-point lead. Since you're behind, Coach, you'll be picking first. Who is your first player?
Mark Duran.
Mark Duran is your number 1. Coach?
Romain.
Romain Lawrence is your 1. Who's your 2?
Dupont.
Bastien Dupont is your 2.
Matilda Ekholm.
Matilda Ekholm is your 2 and your 3.
Daniel Gorak.
Daniel Gorak is your 3.
Enzo.
Enzo Angles is your 3 or 4.
Jeremy?
Jeremy Hazin is your 4, coach.
Benjamin Brossier.
Benjamin Brossier is your 4, making it your 5th. Who do we Ojo?
Ojo.
Ojo is your 5, and Honglin is your 5. Good luck, coaches.
Wow, this gets really interesting.
All things considered, I feel like that worked out okay for Florida. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I was a little surprised that Coach Yang put Dupont out second, giving Florida the chance to respond. I mean, when you're in that position, you put Enzo out in second, and what's the worst that they can do, really? Because they ended up with Gorak facing off against Enzo anyway in the next matchup. Yeah, on the singles results, good for Brossier matching up with Hazin.
Duran taking the top spot. See how he fares against Lorenz. He struggled moments ago, and Lorenz keeps it rolling.
First on receive to the wide forehand, 6-0, and he's got 2 serves to come.
Roman Lorenz is in the zone right now.
Swats that forehand away like it's nothing.
7-0 Carolina Gold Rush, second serve for Roman.
And a surface error from Roman.
Gift
Gifts a point to the Crocs. Now it's Ekholm versus Dupont for the next 4 points. A 7-1 lead for Carolina. What's the key for Matilda here against Bastien?
Serve's going to play a big role for her. I think getting in first, if you can get in first with good spin, I mean, that's a strength for her.
A big part of Florida's early season success was Frank's confidence in putting Matilda against male players in Golden Games and her delivering.
Yeah, I mean, her reverse pendulum serve is really strong, regardless of whether she's playing women or men. So the serve, she's got to get in and take those points for sure. But she doesn't want Dupont to attack first. That's going to be difficult. That slow spin from Matilda Ekholm, one of her biggest strengths. The ball drops quite quickly. Very hard to counterattack if you let the ball drop.
Can Ekholm make it 3 out of 4? Nope.
She had the chance. She had the chance. She'll take a split.
Angles and Gorak. Enzo's had Gorak's numbers so far today. 3-0 sweep in singles, 3-0 sweep in doubles. Can Gorak change that story here?
Soft hands to touch game. Enzo takes the first point. 3 serving 10, Daniel's second serve.
One of the great things that you can say about Enzo Angles is he never comes to the table lacking focus. He always comes with determination and purpose.
Strong opening from inside the table.
Able to get on the board in the Golden Game.
11 serving 4,
Florida
second
could
serve
really
for
use
Enzo
another
Angles.
point here from Gorak on Angles' serve.
And also sustained attacking game from the left-handed Frenchman. Just making short work of almost any opponent thrown his way. Jeremy's going to have the chance to take on Brossier again.
Good stuff from Brossier. He's been the greatest strength for the Crocs today. Earned him 3 points in his second singles spot. Got a big deficit to try and overcome, and he only gets to play 3 more points. This will be his last serve in this sequence. And Hazim takes that second point of this 4-point sequence. Gold Rush back up by 8.
Missed opportunity from Jeremy Hazim. Popped up nice and high off the back of that long fast serve, and he hits it over the end.
3 out of 4 for Brossier. It's a 6-point game. Here comes Hong Lin and Ojo Onalapo.
Ojo's got a bit of a smirk on his face there. It'll be interesting to see how things go down in this matchup. Teams have certainly tried to make things a lot more difficult for Hong in the Golden game than we saw in the start of the season.
She was feasting on the other female players.
Yeah, really.
Great deep serve from Hong Lin. And well, Ojo's still got a smirk on his face, but a different thought in his mind right now after dropping 2 of the first 3. Lin with some great reflexes to take 3 out of 4.
Tough times right now for the Florida Crocs, but as long as we're keeping score, there's still a chance.
16-8, Carolina leads as Lorenz and Duran back at the top of the order come back to the table.
There's a big backhand punch from Mark Duran. Haven't seen too much of that this weekend.
Mark Duran to serve. Roman saves the net and comes back to win the point. He's got 2 of his own now. It's 17.
I don't know if many players go to the table with this mindset, but the reality is with Carolina, you have an 8-point lead. You know, if you go to the table, you say, I just win 1 point, or I just win 2 points. I'm doing my job.
It's
2 for Lorenz. He took 2 out of 3 earlier at the start. He's taking 2 out of 3 now. He's got 1 more point to play tonight. Ekholm and Dupont coming up next.
Oh,
he missed it.
Side spin as Mark Duran
scrapes another point here.
Racket chasing down that wide forehand. Maki Ekholm back in business with the serve.
Chance here. She starts off with the serve.
10, serving 18.
See if she can capitalize on those different serve variations. She does. Dupont really struggling with the receive. That reverse pendulum paying dividends. She had the chance. The ball was long.
Just missed, and it's Bastien Dupont now with the serve at 19-11.
Carolina's 2 points away. Heck of a return from Matilda Ekholm.
Sneaks the ball in down the line.
19 serving 12.
Caught Dupont stepping around. Ekholm gets 3 out of 4. Cuts the deficit from 8 to 6, and now it's up to Gorak. He has 1 more chance against Enzo this weekend. 1 more opportunity to try and change the story. Anglaise needs just 2 points to close it out.
A bit of surprise, perfect placement, and the point for Daniel Gorak, 14 serving 19.
Timeout.
Timeout called.
Timeout, Carolina.
Young of the Carolina Gold Rush, 2 points away from victory. But momentum has been in the jaws of the Crocs for some time now. My goodness.
What do you think of this timeout?
19-11, 3 points in a row.
If you're going to use it, use it now, right? 19-14. They need to get themselves over the line.
Really smart play out of here. Monty Ekholm, patience.
Not a whole lot of coaching going on beyond, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing you need to say to Enzo.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a mental break to stop things and to try and kill some of the momentum from the Crocs.
To receive here from Daniel Gorak, 14 serving 19.
Gorak's got one more serve. Enzo will have 2 if he needs them. Gorak goes with a deep serve. Catches the edge and wins the point.
He says this is my day. I've got a few IOUs to
late apology.
Grin
on his face.
Now
Enzo has 2 serves and he's still got an opportunity to finish this.
Enzo Angles, 19 serving 15.
Brossier and Hazine are waiting in the wings. We'll see if they get a chance to retake the table. Angles brings Carolina within 1.
5 golden game points for the Carolina Gold Rush. Second serve here, 20, serving 15.
1 point away from the Princeton Revolution officially going to sleep tonight in 2nd place in the East Division. Gorak able to take 3 out of 4 from Angles. And now Brossier and Hazine come to the table. Remember, Brossier has had Hazine's number. And if Brossier can pull off a golden sweep, then it would come down to Honglin and Ojo Onaolapo for the ultimate golden point. Hazine needs just 1. Brossier brings the Crocs within 3. You see this coming, Matt?
Still a little way to go, but big catch-up effort by the Florida Crocs.
Carolina's used its timeout. Cannot stop play again. Brossier takes care of business on his serve. Now we'll see what Jeremy Hazine has in the quiver. This has all of a sudden gotten very interesting.
I'll tell you one thing, Ocho against Hong, that's the match for
the Ojo serve. Hazine able to finish it. Brossier sails it long, and Carolina hangs on.
Under immense pressure, Jeremy Hazine, he just needed 1 point. Just kept the ball in play, and it was enough. A spirited effort at the end there by the Florida Crocs.
Yeah, they made it interesting, certainly more interesting than it felt like it was going to be. But Hazine helps to pick up Angles after Enzo got swept, but took just 1 of the 4 against Gorak in the 2nd sequence. Ekholm certainly played well in the Golden Game. Brossier had a nice night, but Hazine with the clincher for the Gold Rush. And what a night for Roman Lorenz, too. I mean, he played well in the Golden Game. He dominated Mark Duran to create the 5-0 lead. And look, that proved to be the difference in the Golden Game, those 5 points.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Loomed large.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be thrilled with Roman's performance to get things set up for that.
Let's chat with the coach of the Gold Rush, Alex Yang. Congratulations, Alex. It got a little tight there down the stretch, but Jeremy was able to get you over the finish line. How nervy were you feeling over in the bench area during the Golden Game?
For me, it's okay because it's not very important for us to win, no. But Jeremy is not good form today, but he a little nervous. I told him just like last 4 points, you should only win 1 point. Why you play too safe? Try to take some risk.
Yeah, I noticed when you're on the bench, I mean, sometimes you're very direct with the players, and that's important, right?
Yes.
I mean, especially with Bastien and his singles, sometimes it's something really simple like, hey, don't drop the ball short twice or don't push the ball twice. So how do you feel that your approach when you're coaching on the bench kind of helps you interact with your team?
I don't like to talk too much because they can't really listen, you know, just like few points. Like main key, they have to help them to fix the problem and changing the situation. Just like a couple of, because they are professional, they know what they do, you know, just only a few things to remember him. Sometimes after they are really nervous, they cannot remember.
Yeah. I want to go back to what you said earlier, that it's not that important for you to win. Obviously, from a standings perspective, your position is pretty secure, but without a real sense of urgency, you've come out and won 16-5 on consecutive nights. What does that say about the players on your team, that they continue to go and have success despite the fact that these are not must-win games?
You know, I think we don't have a lot of pressure for all the players, but for other side, they have to win. So that's the little we take advantage. Today, Romero Runs really play on fire, and also Enzo. These two help the team, you know, to win this game.
Well, they got 9 points for you combined, and then in the Golden Game, they took care of business as well. Tomorrow, you got the hottest team in the division, obviously other than yourselves. The Princeton Revolution have won 9 of their last 11 matches. I'm sure you've watched them the past couple of days. What has impressed you about Princeton, and what's the message to the team heading into tomorrow?
We tried our best to try to the best to play, to fair for everybody. You know, even we are like 90% we are number 1 on East, but our match is important for other 2 teams, so we will try our best to be fair for this sport.
Well done tonight. Congratulations on a 2-0 start to the weekend. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early.
Okay, thank you very much.
11 a.m. start tomorrow for the Gold Rush and the Revolution. Then Chicago and Florida will both look to cap their weekend with a win at 2 p.m. Let's chat with Roman Lorenz, who just came out sizzling. He won his first 2 games, 22-9, and then held on in Game 3, 11-9 against Mark Duran. You kept it rolling in the Golden Game. What was feeling so good for you tonight, Roman?
Yeah, that was an excellent match for me, of course. I lost last month against Mark 2-1, so I had to take my revenge. And yeah, I played really good and was a little bit lucky in the first 2 games. Then it's never easy to win 3-0, especially when the level it's really close between players. So that was a really good win. So we started the Golden Game with 5-0, which is a really big advantage, and I'm really happy with the tonight victory.
And one of the things I guess we haven't necessarily talked about as much in the post-match interviews, outside of this, obviously, you know, you're in New York and you're at Peng Pod and you're coaching quite a lot. And we've seen with some of the players, you know, like Daniel Gorak, also coaching a lot. How do you make sure that you maintain your level and that you're sharp for these matches, given that, you know, I mean, I know personally, once you start coaching, it can be really hard to keep a strong level, and especially when you have these guys coming from overseas they're not coaching, they're playing full time. What's important for you in that sense?
That's really important for me to stay in shape first, and I'm playing every day a lot, maybe more than when I was player. Of course not with the same level, but I keep practicing also. I'm coaching full time, but I keep practicing myself, and I'm always playing Westchester tournaments, which is a really good practice for me for the MLTT. And here when I'm coming, it's like 3 days of competition, but also a good practice because I'm practicing every morning, playing the games, warming up every time. I'm going to the gym, I'm running.
You're a busy man.
Yeah, I am, but I love it.
Well, tomorrow you get the hottest team in the division other than yourselves, the Princeton Revolution. They've won 9 of their last 11 matches. I know you've been watching them. What stood out to you about how they've been playing, and what are your thoughts going into tomorrow?
I think it's not really a big surprise when you see their teams. They're really strong, just they are not playing full team every weekend, which is a little bit difficult for them. But I think it's still a long way for them. It's not, I mean, doesn't mean Florida lost 2 games in a row this weekend, but doesn't mean that they'll die. It's still a long way, and every point counts, so it will be very interesting until the last point in New Jersey next month.
Roman, you might be back on the table in about 13 and a half hours if you're playing in the first single spot tomorrow. So 11 a.m., we'll see you then.
Yeah, see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Good luck and best of congrats on the job today.
Thank you.
Roman Lawrence joining us here after a Saturday night where Carolina prevails 16-5. Earlier this evening, it was the Princeton Revolution winning 15-6. So for the first time all season, Princeton goes to bed among the top 2 in the East. They have surpassed Florida. A 15-point performance from Princeton today, and the Crocs managed just 5. It's a 9-point gap at the start of the day, so obviously a 4-point lead now. Carolina is clear of everybody, but it's going to be an interesting showdown tomorrow. We got a new battle of the top 2, and obviously Florida's going to try to do some damage as best they can against Chicago, but the Wind are going to be hungry as well.
Yeah, I mean, more big matches tomorrow. Every point, every game, really important now. You know, Florida's going to want some revenge. They need to push themselves back up into that second spot, and it's going to be a tough match for the Princeton Revolution. So still pretty interesting to see how things end up at the end of the weekend on the standings.
That'll do it for our Saturday night doubleheader. It's going to be a Super Sunday here in Winter Haven, Florida. It starts at 11 a.m. with Princeton and Carolina, and then at 2 o'clock, Florida and Chicago. The first matchup features a couple teams that are both 2-0 this weekend. The second, a couple teams that are both winless this weekend. And we'll see how things transpire tomorrow. I don't think Sean O'Neill will be quite as chesty after tonight as he was yesterday, but we shall see. That's from a fantasy table tennis perspective. Look forward to being with you tomorrow morning for a Super Sunday. For Matt Hetherington, I'm Evan Leffler saying good night from Winter Haven. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow here from the Sunshine State. Good night, everybody.